Dave Schiller in Richmond, Virginia with Project Exile, where he put the federal laws on a card and went to the police and said, every time you see a drug dealer, gang member, felon, call me. I'll prosecute 100% of the time. He had 350 prosecutions in Richmond, Virginia. That was more than the entire states of California, New York, New Jersey, and Washington, D.C. combined. That's why we were so upset. That's why we went out there on the media to defend these guys. That's the way. Every cop knows that if he catches a drug dealer with a gun, a gang member with a gun, the prosecutor was nowhere to be found. And the police know in their mind, though, that if somebody doesn't take this guy off the street, he's going to hurt somebody. So we have every bit of the numbers. In fact, President Clinton didn't deny the numbers. He just said that, well, we're concentrating on gun control in general. Not specific prosecutions, because we believe that's a cookie-cutter approach that deals only with guppies, and if you take one guppy off the street, it's going to be replaced by another guppy. Here in Cleveland that year, you know how many federal prosecutions you had on these bad guys with guns? 41. I mean, it's disgraceful what was going on, and it's still going on today. We need a change of the whole culture of federal prosecution. We got 100 U.S. attorneys. If they would only bring 10 of these cases a month, that's 12,000 of the worst bad guys in the country they could take off the street. If they'd bring 20, they could take 24,000 of the worst bad guys off the street. But yet, despite all the talk in the media and despite all the talk in the newspapers, they don't want to concentrate on street crime cases. So they tell the prosecutors no. The federal judges ridicule the prosecutors like Dave Schiller in Richmond, Virginia, that bring these cases and say we don't want them in our courts. And that's why the NRA was upset. That's why Wayne was upset. And I'm still upset today, because we need this Project Exile program in Philadelphia, Cleveland, Baltimore, every city of this country, and it would dramatically cut the crime rates by 50 to 70%, just like happened in Richmond, Virginia. I can back up every number I've talked about.
Ready? Mr. LaPierre, my name is Jerry Nunziato. I'm a retired ATF agent for 10 years. I ran the National Tracing Center and was involved with international tracing of firearms. And I admire you by saying you want to tell the truth. But you got to remember, you got to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Well, let me ask you about these guns in Mexico.
You got it.
From 1990 to 2000, when I retired, we had agents and the governments of Mexico and South America tracing all their guns. We did it electronically. And a lot of the guns came from the United States. And I can't give you a percentage because I don't have this, but it was an overwhelming majority. And your video was a little deceiving, because you interviewed police officers that have no knowledge of tracing guns in Mexico, because the TIARD amendment that has been sponsored by the gun lobby prohibits ATF from giving information to local police about guns if it's not in their jurisdiction. And you mentioned the guns coming from China and Russia, turning up into Mexico. Where a lot of them came through the United States. They were imported here. And unfortunately, because of the no standard markings on the guns to show where those guns were imported from, some were in microprinting, because, again, the gun lobby wouldn't allow ATF to put standardized labels on imported guns. Well, let me finish, sir. I let you talk. But you told the truth. Everything you said was probably true, but it's not the whole truth.
Oh, it is.
It is not, though, because you have no basis to find it, because you can't get the information from ATF because they're prohibited from the TIARD amendment. And second, about your enforcement, wanting the federal laws enforced. For 10 years, you had a major impact on ATF's budget that didn't allow us to enforce the gun laws. Now, that, if you remember in 1979 when you caused us to all be ripped.
Let me tell you something.
1979, you caused us to lose half our agents. So you have to tell the truth.
Let me tell you.
I just think, I admire what you're doing for the rights of people who own guns. But let's tell the whole truth, sir.
All right, let's talk about the truth. The first call I made on Mexico, we got a lot of friends in ATF. We got a lot of members in ATF. I called ATF. And they told me, Wayne, we just can't substantiate any of what's being said in the media. And let me tell you this. The only thing you guys have, and you guys, I mean our folks down there at ATF too, is what the Mexican government gives them. Yeah, they're giving the U.S. guns from the United States. What you're not getting are the guns from Russia, China, the international black market, the Mexican army. what's coming through Guatemala and Central America that the U.S. ships to the Contras down there. I mean, all this stuff you see on TV. Wait. All this stuff you see on RPGs and grenades and machine guns, you can't walk into gun stores in the United States. Try it. Anyone in this room walk into a gun store and say, I'd like a couple RPGs, a couple machine guns, and how about throwing it? I mean, it's ridiculous, the stuff in the media you see. I mean, and on the T. Hart Amendment, I'm tired of the distortions on the T. Hart Amendment. The T. Hart Amendment says law enforcement can share data with each other on criminal investigations. Do you know who backed the T. Hart Amendment when it was enacted? The ATF. They supported that amendment because they didn't want the criminal data shared with the press and with other people because they thought it was compromising their investigations. I have the FOP right here. The Fraternal Order Police did an editorial on it where they talk about ATF has gone to court to fight the release of this data because they believe it has a negative effect on its ability to investigate illegal gun trafficking. And then here's the Fraternal Order Police going on, that when you're actually working illegal gun cases, releasing sensitive information about pending cases can jeopardize the integrity of investigation and jeopardize the lives of undercover officers. What Mayor Bloomberg and some folks in the anti-gun lobby in this country will not report is the fact ATF, the Department of Justice, the Fraternal Order Police, all these groups were the reason the T. Hart Amendment was enacted. They didn't want anti-gun groups to be messing in all their data simply to try to bring lawsuits against the American firearms industry. That's the truth. Sure it is. Well, I don't know what to tell you other than it's the truth.
Mr. LaPierre, first of all, I'm here to say, just as a citizen of this country, that I do not think that you have given the truth and justice in your remarks. First of all,
That's
what I
your
do
right
see,
to have that opinion.
and it is your right
But
to
I
have your
disagree with
opinion. We mutually have a right to disagree. But what I'm most upset about is that you are pointing fingers at everyone else in terms of our politicians, our media. But I don't see you as an NRA representative taking on the ownership of the responsibilities that you have in terms of, and please let me finish, in terms of the lobbying efforts that you do, the money that you have. And I find what is most telling about your remarks is your statement that authorities, if authorities won't protect you, then it stands to reason that we have the right to protect ourselves. And as a citizen of this country, in a democracy, okay, I really need to tell you that I feel very threatened by that attitude, that the institutions of this country... Okay, I will give you the question right now because I think it's based on patriotism and respect for diversity and pluralism. So here are my questions. Please explain your support of shoot first, ask later in Texas and in Florida that tramples my rights of redress, innocent until proven guilty, and lobbying and trial by jury. That's one question. I really would like to know that. No, this is all part of it. This is all part of it. Okay? Okay. Okay, that's a good one to start with.
You know, you've asked about 3 or 4, so in that, let me talk. You really didn't.